This is the plaintiff, Jackie Harmon. She says the defendant rear-ended her when she was at a red light and won't pay for the damages he caused. The guy even went to the cops and claimed her son was harassing him. Bottom line, she's suing him in this courtroom today for the $3,000 he owes her. This is the defendant, Terrence Mixon. He says he grazed the back of the plaintiff's car and paid a body shop to fix her car, and the woman was satisfied. Then her son calls him out of the blue saying he was going to come here and fight him. Huh? There's no way he owes this woman a penny more, and he thinks the judge will agree. He's accused of grazing a woman.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that the defendant rear-ended her at a red light and now won't pay for the damages. But the defendant claims he tapped the woman's bumper, he paid for her repairs, and then her son shows up at the house looking for a fight. It's the case of, yeah, I tapped that.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Harmon, you are suing Mr. Mixon for the value of your car, which you say he essentially totaled. Tell me what happened.
Well, February the 24th, I was on my way to work. I was at a red light at the intersection of 55th and Woodland. I was sitting there. Once the light changed, I went through the light, and all of a sudden my truck got to spinning. I seen lights spinning everywhere, and it landed in the park, almost in the parking lot at the Marathon gas station across the street from where I was going. And it was about 10 of those motorcycle guys. They surrounded my truck because my truck was spinning. And I didn't know it was spinning like that, and they thought it was gonna flip, but it landed down. And then I drove it up in the parking lot, and Mr. Mixon got out, and I said, "You hit my car. You hit my car."
Where did he come from? Where did the hit come from? Do you know?
He hit me on the passenger side, the rear passenger side.
The rear passenger side. All right,
Correct.
So was he traveling behind you, do you know, or you don't know?
No, he was coming, he was on the, I don't know, was that eastbound? I mean, south.
So you're going this way and he's coming this way. Are you both traveling the same way, or are you traveling?
No,
right,
that's
okay.
correct.
I got it. And was the light green for you?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
And when he hit you, what did he say to you? After he got out and talked to you, what did he say?
I think he said something to the nature about, he didn't mean to hit me or something. He tried to run the light, going through the light or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
All right. So what happens?
Well, he got out, and then we assessed the damages and everything, and I kept telling him, "You hit my blank car. You hit my car." And then he was like, he was sorry. Then we started taking pictures, and I called my son, and was telling my son that I just was in a car accident. I told my son to get up there, and he called his sons. He called his son up there. And after that, we assessed the damages, and then he told me about his family had a body shop and they could fix it and everything. And he gave me his information and everything. We exchanged information, and I said okay. And I had AAA, so I had AAA to tow it to my house. And then once me and Mr. Mixon got to talking again, the following days I had the tow truck to tow it to the shop, to his family shop.
Okay. And did they repair it?
Well, they said they repaired it, but due to the pictures that I took before and after, everything still looks the same.
Okay.
Everything, and I asked him. I was asking the.
What do you mean everything still looks the same? Let's look at the
impact.
Let's look at the pictures after the accident. Are these pictures of the damage? This is the back right side?
Yes, ma'am. That's after they fixed it right there.
Okay. This is after they fixed it?
Yeah, this is everything after they fixed it.
Wait. Are you saying that they didn't fix the car? They actually didn't even fix the body damage?
No, they did not fix the body damage at all. They did not fix the body damage.
Who is this person in relation to the defendant?
He said it was his nephew.
So what does the guy say he did?
He says, I have the suspension parts replaced. He said he replaced some suspension
So he did
parts.
a little repair?
Yeah.
He did a little repair. So did you bring the car back to him?
I had the car towed back to him.
And when you had, why did you even pick up the car if that's how it still looked?
Well, he was saying that the bottom of it was fixed because the tire was rolling because he messed the tire up, and once
I'm
I
sorry.
got to driving,
I'm asking you a question about about something you did, not something he did. Why would you pick up the car if they didn't fix the body damage?
because I don't know. I thought maybe they had fixed the part where the body had came apart, and I asked Mr. Mixon about
Did you
the
really,
panel.
really need your car?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Like you really?
I'm still on the bus right now.
Yeah. Let me hear from you, Mr. Mixon. What happened? Tell me about the accident.
Okay, I was going down 55th, going, I guess, eastbound, wait a minute, south or something, and my brakes gave out. So I hit her on the side in the rear tire. And, yes,
So you ran the red light.
yes, my brakes had gave out, so she was coming down, and my car just ran into the back of her.
Okay.
So I was really stunned when I did it, and I got out, and I asked her, was she all right? And then she said she's okay and everything. And then the police came, and then she said that we already discussed what we're gonna do.
All right,
so
well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. So she agrees to your plan. You mentioned to her that you have what, a family member in the business?
Yes.
Does your family member own the shop, or are they an employee at the shop?
Yes.
They own the shop.
He owned the shop.
All right, so let me ask you, according to her, he supposedly fixes it but doesn't fix the body damage. And what, you were going to just send her on her way that way?
You look all around there, it's all rusted up. Ain't no way that they could have did it. They explained that to her.
What, fix the body damage?
Yes, the bumper around the wheel well was all rusted up already.
So then it was like a total loss, right?
I guess.
Okay. Well, so then the issue becomes, does she have to eat the repair? Your nephew, is it your nephew? Who is it?
My cousin.
Your cousin does a repair, and how long are you on the road before you have a problem, Ms. Harmon?
It was like a couple of hours because I was headed to a funeral, and that's when I realized that the tire was messed up.
How was it messed up? Describe what made you realize it.
I heard the tire rubbing against the panel in the back.
So you bring it back or tow it back to him?
I tow it back.
All right, so she tows it back, and then what does he do?
Well, that's when he was telling me about what had happened. I mean, about how rusted it was and this and that. And I asked him.
Did he basically say, I can't do anything else for you?
No, he told me that the rear panel, the right rear panel, because the body was broke, he broke the frame on it. And he said all that needed to be replaced. And Mr. Mixon said he was not replacing that.
How do you figure, Mr. Mixon, that you're not going to replace that? If you hit somebody and it's all your fault, how do you figure that you don't have to pay for the damages?
In the first place, Your Honor, the rear axle got replaced.
Yeah, but that didn't work. She had to bring it back within a few hours. Yeah, I don't care if a bad repair happened. Stop a second. You have a car, she hits you. Let's reverse the rules. You're driving, she hits you. All of a sudden now you got to take the bus, right? She tells you about her family and how they'll be able to make it good as new. Then her family says it's great. And then you're riding and you feel the wheels rubbing, right? What do you think is going to happen?
Okay.
What do you think should happen? Don't you think that the person who hit you ought to pay the blue book value of the car? One of two things. It's either a crappy repair, so it's like you didn't repair it, or it's the best repair possible, which is also like you shouldn't have repaired it because it's a total loss. It can't be repaired. It's too rusted. It's too old. It's too this. It's going to cost too much to repair based on what the value of the car is. So at the end of the day, you do a crappy repair that you claim you paid $1,200 for, which, by the way, I was not born yesterday, okay? And then you give it back to her, and then you're like, that's it, bye. And then she's got no car.
Welcome back to the People's Court. The plaintiff is saying that the defendant falsely claimed to cops that her son was harassing him, but the defendant says the kid was actually coming to the house looking for a fight. Let's see what the judge thinks.
Seems to me like if it can't be repaired because it's so old and rusted, then what you have to do is pay her the blue book value of the car, even if you spent money on a crappy repair, because that didn't do her any good. And your own nephew or cousin was saying, well, we need to do a bunch of more work, but I don't think you authorized it, did you?
Yes. I told him to do what he could do.
Could do. Well, apparently he tells her, and I can see with my eyeballs, that he could do more. The Blue Book value of this vehicle, I don't know where you got your Blue Book value, but the Blue Book value is $2,595. If the car can't be repaired, then it's called a total loss, and that's what you damage. See, she had a car, and now she's riding on a bus, thanks to you. So, yeah, she gets to buy a new car with the money that you give her for the value of the car that you wrecked. It's just that simple. In fact, this is a really good example of why if you give a finger, someone takes an arm. Oh, I got a cheap way to fix it. I got a relative in the business, and then you go ahead and allow him to do that. If she had just said, no, I want to take it to my own mechanic, your mechanic would have told you it's a total loss, it can't be fixed. Or your repair guy would have told you it's a total loss, it can't be fixed. And you wouldn't have wasted time. You would have immediately said, hey, you owe me the total loss value. All right, so here we are, $2,595, verdict for the plaintiff. That's my verdict.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you so much.
So the plaintiff prevails. She's going to get not the $3,000 she was seeking, but $2,590. That's the Blue Book value of the car. Mr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. You said you were driving down the street and all of a sudden your brakes just failed? Really? Does it happen like that?
Yes, it happened like that.
You know, you hit her hard. You, according to the repair shop, you broke her frame, bent her frame. That's really serious.
Yeah, the A-frame on the back, and they replaced the A-frame. But she got an option to take it wherever she wanted to go. I told her that I'll pay for it.
Well, you said you'd pay for it. The judge says you're going to pay for it. $2,590. All right? Sorry about that, but that's the judge's decision. Ms. Harmon, let me ask you a question. I'm surprised if he hit you hard enough to bend the frame of your car, how come you weren't hurt? Were you hurt at all?
No, I wasn't hurt at all. Just the way, I guess this is the way he hit, because he hit the back rear end on the right side, and it just spent me around. I can't explain why I wasn't hurt, but I thank God that I wasn't.
Yeah, well, good for you. Good for you. All right. Well, you're going to get enough money to at least put $2,590, almost $2,600 to put toward a new car. Are you satisfied with that?
Yes, I am. I'm very satisfied with the judge's decision.
All right. That'll wrap it up for this case. Harvey, what do you think about this?
So, gosh, we've talked about Blue Books, Doug, for a long time. Blue Books kind of establish the value of a car, but it's not automatic that that's exactly what you get in court. Judges look at mileage, the condition of the car. A Blue Book is reference, but it's not a Bible.
I took my car to the dealership where I paid them over $8,000 in repairs. When they returned the car, my radio, Bluetooth, backup camera console were not working. They tried to repair it and couldn't, and handed me an estimate for another $3,100 to replace it. It was working when I brought it in. It was in their possession for a month. What can I do?
This has happened to me. I've taken cars in to fix problem A, and they came back with problem B. And the first reaction of any consumer when that happens is,
What'd you do? You broke it.
What did you do? But here's the problem. This car, I'm assuming if it's $3,100, it's out of warranty. If it was under warranty, the guy wouldn't really be asking, what do I do? How do I get them to pay? So, and that's so expensive for a stereo.
Yeah.
But how do you prove it? Like, my first thought on this is, wouldn't you need an expert to say, well, no, yeah, they break and everything becomes obsolete and starts to break down, but they caused it. Wouldn't you have to cross that river of causation to really get a judge to say,
I know. Most people feel like, well, it was working when I gave it to you, so you must have done something.
So the thing
and
speaks
that
for itself.
Right, the thing speaks for itself. Res ipsa loquitur, as we say in the law. I used to have a T-shirt that said that, that my law school roommate gave me. But it's a guttural, you know, like my gut says the same thing that your gut said. That's how we feel, but that's not proof.
The guy in the shop is going to say, what do you mean? We didn't break
We didn't
it.
touch
These things break all
now,
the time.
you get a little bit closer to proving it if you can prove that where they were messing is right next to where something was, or if you have, your mechanic look at it and say, look, they cut the wire, or they had to move it to get to their job and they didn't install it correct. You have to have something more.
Carry the day.
But just the idea of, I say it was working when I gave it to you is going to be insufficient.
No, I absolutely agree, and I've been in that situation.
I mean, can you file the lawsuit? Of course, you could file the lawsuit, and sometime maybe maybe the lawsuit will be an impetus for them to say, hey, we can cheap it a lot. We can fix it a lot cheaper than go through the harassment of the lawsuit.
And this question involves not an independent shop, but a dealer. And usually the dealers will stand behind certain things and say, well, we can write some of this off as a goodwill thing.
Yeah, like if it was my dealer would be paying for that.
Right.
Like I would just really push.
Or they would waive all the labor and they'd say, just parts
Right, just
only,
pay for the parts. And that we've settled stuff like that before too.
And that's maybe the happy medium where this person gets some relief.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to do it for this session of the People's Court. By the way, you want more People's Court? Check out our podcast. Check out our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.